Hi, my name is Jeff Mann. I'm an analyst with Gartner, a global IT research company. I'm also doing a lot of some preparatory work for the symposium event that we held in September. I'm the chair of that event, so I do a lot of work on the agenda, picking analysts, deciding what's going to be covered, and working with the local office to make sure it's the right event for South Africa. Well, it's the last week of September, a little bit later this year than it's been in the past. We were doing it in August, and now it's kind of progressively moved a little bit later. One of the good things about that is that it makes it closer with the overall symposium schedule. So symposium is actually, it's a worldwide kind of caravan. We have events. The big one is in Orlando, has about 11,000 people. Also held in Barcelona, Australia, Japan, Sao Paulo, India, and Dubai. But actually kicks off in South Africa. We're quite proud of that.
Nice.
That's the first one.
Good, we like that.
Yep. And so we do some of the first events in South Africa. Then a week later is Orlando, and then it kind of, it's a circus that basically travels around the world. Traditionally, the symposium event is aimed at companies throughout South Africa or out of Africa. Actually, it is the African, so it's not just South Africa. We get them also from other countries as well. It's aimed generally at larger companies. We have some SMBs, but generally it's often the larger companies that we often focus on. And again, the CIO, direct report, senior IT leaders. That generally is the focus. One of the new things that we're doing this year, we're calling it the Aspiring Innovators Program. Because one of the things that our delegates told us is that they wanted to know, we're very good about, Gartner brings kind of worldwide trends to South Africa. That's kind of the overall, and we're quite good at that.
That's what you do.
That's what we do. Yeah, we talk with big companies, we talk with the vendors, we know the trends, and we're bringing that in. We don't actually have a lot of analysts who are based here. We have executive partners and and consultants, so people who work with clients, but from the research community, there's not a lot who are actually based here. And so one of the feedback we got from the delegates is that they wanted to know more about the local, the African startup scene, because there's a lot of interesting things that are happening there. So we did a specific program, hard to say that. A specific program which is aimed at what we're calling aspiring innovators. So it's aimed at the small startups, not spin-offs of larger companies or a big company coming out with a new product. Now it's really aimed at the kind of the two people in a garage coming up with some really cool idea. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have it's still kind of in flux, so some of this might change.
Sure.
We're still figuring out how we're
disclaimer noted.
Yeah, so there is a disclaimer there. It may not actually happen this way. But what we're thinking of, there's going to be probably really two main components. One is on the ITxpo floor. That's that's the area where the vendors come, and we usually sell that to bigger companies. Our startups can't afford it. We know that. We get that. That's not really what it's about. So we're going to have a collective stand where these small companies can have just a small stand where they can be showing what they're doing. And we're going to have one session, which is in the normal IT session, where we're going to ask each of them to create a small video. So just like 2 or 3 minutes where they talk about the product, talk about what it does. I will kind of introduce the topic and kind of weave them in between. And then afterwards, there'll be the opportunity to go on and meet with some of those companies who are on the show floor. Well, it's not just the commercial aspects. I mean, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. But it's also just to kind of see what's out there. Yeah. Also giving some of these startups experience and how do you talk to a CIO? They may not have that chance otherwise. So it also is kind of good part of the training. The hard part is going to be picking them, because we've been starting to, because we really can only do about 5, 6, 7, that kind of number. So it's there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and we've been promoting it on social media. We've been talking with people about different candidates that could be interesting. And we've seen a lot of good stuff, whether it's things about some of the, particularly in an African context, where they're looking at things like feature phones play a more important role here than they would in the US or Europe, where it's all smartphones now. Where a lot of mobile point of sale terminals, so mobile payments and things for very small entrepreneurs, being able to scale things at a very low cost. those are some of the things that we've seen with some of the entrepreneurs that we've been talking to so far.
Yeah, but it's great because it is local. So you're localizing, because there's a big misconception that you find this cool product in the US, you go file, save as Africa, and it will just magically work. It doesn't. So the nice thing is localized people bring localized knowledge, localized technology, and that is something that businesses could use, I suppose.
Well, it's also interesting because one of the things I find is that it can even be going the other way. Because yes, it is localized, but I see certainly in other areas, whether it's India, China, they have many of the same kind of requirements. It can be very similar. But even in some of the more developed countries in Europe and Europe and North America, being able to do things at low cost, well, that's always
that cuts across the board.
Yeah, that's nobody says no, thank you, don't want that.
I'd rather pay more.
That's something that nobody wants. So it does provide other opportunities as well. Now certainly you want to get off the ground here. If you're local, this is certainly your first market, and anything we can do to help that, we'd like to do. September 28th to 30th at the conference center in Cape Town.
Okay. Is there still time for people, for like new entrepreneurs to kind of maybe try and get on board?
We're still looking there. I would say actually entrepreneurs, or also if you know of a company, if you've heard of one that is particularly interesting. The best place to go is gartner.co.za. That is the overall Gartner South Africa site. There you can get information about Symposium, and there also is a link to information about the Aspiring Innovators Program. Okay, look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
Thanks.